want to talk about this one because it's an interesting point. This article was going viral over the past few weeks. The study specifically, new study says that the Earth is experiencing sixth mass extinction. Now, on the surface, this seems like, oh shit, here's more bad news about humans destroying the planet. And, some people would say, oh, humanity is the problem. But I ask in this article, are we really the problem, or is there an opportunity for us to be the solution? In this study, a group of scientists from Stanford University, Princeton University, the University of California, Berkeley, and others warned that the Earth is experiencing a sixth mass extinction area. They are calling for fast action to save endangered species and habitats. And see, this kind of plays into the whole geoengineering thing. The scientists claim that species are disappearing at up to 100 times faster than the normal rate between mass extinctions, known as the background rate. And this study was published in the journal Science Advances. They say, if it is allowed to continue, life would take many millions of years to recover, and our species itself would likely disappear early on. The researchers compared fossil records for vertebrates and extinction counts from a variety of records. They concluded that humans are creating a, quote, global spasm of biodiversity loss. They blamed several actions for the destruction of life, including land clearing for farming, logging and settlement, carbon emissions, toxins that alter and poison ecosystems, and the introduction of invasive species. The researchers told Stanford University that their estimates were conservative and that the situation may be much worse than previously believed. We emphasize that our calculations very likely underestimate the severity of the extinction crisis because our aim was to place a realistic lower bound on humanity's impact on biodiversity. Now, this is an interesting part right here. Paul Ehrlich, being professor of population studies and biology and a senior fellow at the Stanford's Woods Institute for the Environment and also a co-author for the study, said, "The study shows without any significant doubt that we are now entering the sixth great mass extinction event." And this is where I ask, is humanity the problem or can we be the solution? And this is also important why you need to be educated, understand lots of information, and well-read so that you can take all things into consideration when it comes to these ideas. Without a doubt, the Earth is suffering. The planet is ravaged with environmental disasters, loss of important ecosystems and species, and a population that seems increasingly ignorant to the impact it is having on the rock they call home. Every free mind should work to live in harmony with this planet and reduce the impact of our existence on this beautiful, unique place we call Earth. That is without question. What we should question, however, are the motives for governments and other parasitic classes who promote the idea that humanity is the problem that needs to be corrected. Indeed, Professor Ehrlich's involvement might set off a few alarms for those who are familiar with the topic of eugenics. Eugenics is the belief that humans can be improved through genetic or social engineering. In 1981, Ehrlich, who again is one of the authors on this study, wrote the book Extinction, The Causes and Consequences of the Disappearance of Species. Before that, he wrote another book called Ecoscience. Some of you may be familiar with this book. It was published in 1977 with John Holdren, who is currently the Obama administration's science czar. Ecoscience promotes a number of radical ideals for dealing with the world's population. Some of these ideas include forced abortions enforced by a global police force, which requires the loss of individual sovereignty. And I give examples. Forced abortions, he discusses poisoning the water to force fertility control. They write about the global police force. And after this new study, the National Review accused Ehrlich of once again pushing ecological doomsday, something that he has been accused of in the past. His first book was in 1968 called The Population Bomb. And this book went on to become a bestseller, but all of his theories have largely been discredited because he was saying by the early 2000s that the United States and Britain would be starving, there would be mass populations dying everywhere, and it was going to be because the population became so big and we couldn't sustain it, so we had to have population control. Is this study full of shit just because of Ehrlich's involvement? No, not at all. He's just one person in the team of scientists. And without a doubt, as I said, we should look at our actions that we're taking and the way that we're harming this planet and work to remove ourselves from those systems, mainly the state, that are harming the planet. But we should also take into account the motivations of the people who are involved in propagating this message.